Right, welcome back to module 6 where we are discussing the date functions. So we have determined the birth month and the birth day, and we also looked at a number of date functions where we extracted here the year, the month, the day, weekday, week number, and we also looked at addition where we are adding number of days to a particular date, or we are subtracting to get a duration, right? So what we need to do now is to calculate the age of a person when we have got the date of birth. So we need a new function which is called today. So if I type in equal to today, open and close, that is a function already on its own. So it gives me the date today, right? Equal to today. So that's all you type in, equal to, then today. You get the date today. So the reason we need the date today is because to calculate the age of a person, we must know the number of days from the time he was born until today. So what we are simply doing is we are subtracting today's date, then we say today's date minus the date of birth. So today's date is given by the today function. So once we get that number of days, we then divide it by 365. So what we do is we say equal to today, open close bracket, minus the date of birth, right? That date of birth, and then we are going to divide the answer, right? The whole answer. So meaning that we now need these two in brackets. So you come, put opening bracket and a closing bracket. So we could have started by doing that already from the beginning. So is equal to open bracket today minus the date of birth, then outside the bracket we now say divided by 365, and then we press enter. So you can see that now it gives me a date. The reason it's giving me a date is because it's just making an assumption that the column next to it is a date, so it thinks I also want a date. So what we do is we format this cell and tell it this is not a date, it's a number. So let's highlight all the fields where we want this number to be, or you can even just highlight the whole column so that everything else we put later is already formatted. So you right click and you go to format cells, and then you go to number, and then you select number. We don't want decimal places, and then you simply say okay. So now it tells you that the person is 50 years old if they were born in 1970, right? So we'll do it again on this next field, equal to, we open bracket, then we say today. So the today function on its own must have its own set of brackets. Today minus the date of birth, then we close the bracket, then we say divided by 365, and we press enter. So this next guy is 45. The next one will be equal to, open bracket, today, open and close bracket, minus his date of birth, close bracket, divided by 365, and you press enter. So for the last one, I'm just going to copy. I will not bother typing, right? So because there is a formula here, if you come and you change the date here and you now make it 1980, for example, this person now becomes 40 years old, right? So That's the beauty of a formula. And if the date now changes to the next day, it keeps on recalculating on its own. So because we said 0 decimal places, this will probably be 50 for the next year or so, right? Then once it has accumulated another 365 days, it now changes to 51. So that is how we calculate the age. So again, we are using the today function, right? So that is a very useful function today, because it tells you what is the date today. So I'm sure you are already thinking of uses. How can I use today? So if somebody says, what is going to be the date 30 days from now? So you simply say equal to today plus 30. And then, okay, I put it in a number field. So let me put it in a date field, equal to today, open close, plus 30 days. Then it tells me that it's going to be in July 2020, because today is 26th of June 2020. Okay, so that's your today function that gives you the age of the person. So you can see that the normal rules of BODMAS that we use in mathematics, right, where we say brackets of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction, those rules apply when we are putting in formulas. So that is why on that formula we have to put a bracket on today minus the date of birth, then we close that bracket, then divide that difference by 365. So if you can write a formula on a piece of paper, you simply repeat it exactly the way it is on the piece of paper. You repeat it on Excel, just making sure that you put the brackets on the correct spot, right? Okay, so I think that is all we are going to do on the date functions. So let's meet in the next video, where we are going to be discussing data validations and creating the drop-down lists for those fields that we left blank: the department, branch, and job title.